Sometimes buyers ask us if we could provide the business tax returns on the business that they're looking to acquire. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not a normal procedure when you're selling a business. And the reason why that's not a normal procedure is because usually there's so many buyers that are inquiring about a business. And if we just started handing out the tax returns to every single buyer that's inquiring, there would be so many people out there with the seller's tax returns. Obviously, that's very, very confidential information. We have to make sure that only the most serious buyers that are really looking to acquire that business see the tax returns. Most of the time, my practice is that we do not provide business tax returns to a buyer until the business has gone under contract. At that point, once it goes under contract and you're in process of doing your due diligence, that's when you're going to get the business tax returns, the bank statements, merchant service statements, all the other information that you need to successfully do your due diligence. But you got to remember, in our SIM, that marketing piece that we gave you, we have financial information on a spreadsheet. That financial information on the spreadsheet was taken directly from the tax returns. So you should look at that and go, okay, that was taken from the tax returns, and you've just got to have that mindset, that's where it came from. And when you go through the due diligence process, you can compare the tax returns against that spreadsheet. You can definitely make an offer off the numbers on a spreadsheet. The due diligence period is where you're verifying the actual information. And that would be a black eye on me if the information on the tax returns and what you're seeing in the SIM do not match up. There would be no reason for me to do that whatsoever. Now, once in a while, I am willing to talk to a seller about giving the tax returns to a buyer prior to going under contract, but only after the buyer and the seller have had a phone call, only after the buyer and the seller have met face to face. And then the buyer feels very, very confident about the seller, and the seller feels like the buyer is a very strong buyer and would be a good person to take over their business. So I hope you understand why we're not just handing tax returns to every buyer that inquires to us. If we did that, there'd be so many of the seller's tax returns just floating out there. We just got to make sure that we're giving it to a buyer when at the appropriate time, when they're the most serious and they're really going to be putting in an offer.